I'm Gary Chambers, and this is The Spotlight. Every week we want to bring people of color news that you must hear from a perspective that's not shared. As you may well know, in South Carolina last weekend there was a protest of white supremacists and the Black Panther Party. White supremacists out there, the KKK with their Confederate flag standing up for that hatred, and black people standing up for the right to speak against that hatred. It's a clash of the titans, people who want change and people who don't want change, people who are wanting progress and equal rights for everybody, and those who think that they are still better than us just simply because of the color of their skin. In Germany, they have a dark history. Germany came against the Jewish people, put them in camps and killed them by gas and all kinds of horrible things. It was called the Holocaust. In Germany, they had a flag that represented the Holocaust. They had a swastika on it. That flag is now banned in Germany. My question is, in the United States, why haven't we banned the Confederate flag? If your senator, your congressman stands by the Confederate flag, why would you give them your vote? What happened to Sandra Bland? It's a hashtag traveling all over the country, probably all over the world by now. A 28-year-old black woman in Prairie View, Texas, who had a bright future ahead of herself, gets pulled over for a traffic stop. This is what happened.
Hello, ma'am. With the Texas Highway Patrol, the reason for your stop is you failed to signal your lane change. You got your driver's license insurance with you? Okay, ma'am. You okay?
I'm waiting on you. This is your job. I'm waiting on you. What do you want me to
Oh,
say?
you seem very irritated.
I am. I really am. Because I feel like it's crap for what I'm getting a ticket for. I was getting out of your way. You were speeding up, tailing me. So I move over and you stop me. So yeah, I am a little irritated, but that doesn't stop you from giving me a ticket. So let's continue.
Are you done?
You asked me what was wrong, and I told you.
Okay.
So now I'm done. Yeah.
Okay. You mind putting out your cigarette, please? Don't mind.
I'm in my car. Why do I have to put out my cigarette?
Well, you can step on out now.
I don't have to step out of my car.
Step out of the car.
Why am I?
Step out of the car.
No, you don't have the right.
Step out of the car.
You do not have the right to do that.
I do have the right. Now step out or I will remove
I
you.
refuse to talk to you other than to identify myself.
Step out or I will remove you.
I am getting removed for a failure.
Step out or I will remove you. I'm giving you a lawful order. Get out of the car. Get out of the car now.
Why am I being apprehended? You trying to give me a ticket
I
for
said
your failure?
get out of the car.
Why am I being apprehended? You
I'm
just
giving
opened
you a
my car
lawful
door.
order.
You just
I'm
opened
going
my
to
car
drag you
door.
out of here.
So you threatening to drag me out of my own car.
Get out of the car.
And then you
I will
stun
light
me?
you up. Get out.
Wow.
Now.
Wow.
Get out of the car.
Really on me. Fucking asshole. You're about to break my wrist. Can you stop? You are about to fucking break my wrist.
Stop moving. Stop now. Stop it.
Stop resisting, man.
If you would stop, and I would tell you.
Fucking traffic
Now
signal.
stop.
You are such a pussy. You are such a pussy. No, you are.
You're yanking around.
Full traffic signal.
You are yanking around. When you pull away from me, you're resisting arrest.
This makes you feel real good, don't it? A female for a traffic signal. I got it. For a traffic signal. I know that makes you feel good, officer. Take care of yourself. I know it makes you feel real good. You're a real man now. You just slam me, knock my head in the ground. I got epilepsy, you motherfucker.
Good.
I hope I...
Good.
You should have thought about that before you start resisting.
As you can see, Sandra Bland sitting in the car, she has an attitude. Anybody that gets pulled over on a hot summer day in Texas is probably going to have an attitude with a police officer, especially for failure to give a traffic signal, right? So I've heard all these comments about Sandra Bland shouldn't have had an attitude. She shouldn't have done this. What shouldn't have happened in that video is that police officer should not have told her to put out her cigarette. That police officer should not have jerked her out of the car. That police officer should not have taken her to the ground because nothing she said, nothing she did deserved the treatment she got. But what's worse is, 3 days later, Sandra Bland ends up dead. Now, we're trying to figure out what happened. Well, the sheriff's office tells us that Sandra Bland hung herself. 6'1" black woman hung herself on a 5'8" post. From what reports are reading, that's what the post she hung herself from, with a trash bag. I'm kind of troubled about that. Why does a woman who just got a job at her alma mater decide to hang herself? And why does white media care if she had marijuana in her system? What upsets me about mainstream media is every time you see these reports and they try to bring out the toxicology report, in Colorado, it's legal to smoke marijuana. In the state of Washington, it's legal to smoke marijuana. As a matter of fact, the states make billions of dollars off the taxes from selling marijuana. But in Texas, the good old boys have not yet legalized marijuana. So she had marijuana in her system, and we're going to make that as topic of discussion because defaming the character of black people is how mainstream media makes it okay that they got killed. At the end of the day, what happened to Sandra Bland is no different than a case in my hometown, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, about Lamar Johnson. Lamar Johnson was arrested for a simple traffic violation. He had a warrant out. He was arrested. The arresting officer calls his mother. His mother gets to talk to him, and then he goes to jail. The arresting officer has a 30-minute conversation with Lamar, takes him to Parish Prison. In Parish Prison, at some point, they say Lamar asks to be transferred into a private cell. That's when things go south. On a Saturday morning, there's an incident. They show up with food. Lamar's quote-unquote hanging. On Monday, his mother finds out that he's in the hospital on life support. Then she has to go through loops and holes in order to find out what happened to her son, to be able to go to the hospital to see her son. And in Baton Rouge, nobody's talking about Lamar Johnson. As a matter of fact, Lamar and Sandra have something in common. The police say they hung themselves in jail. But have they produced evidence that without a shadow of a doubt proves it? If they haven't, my question to you is, if you don't produce evidence against police officers, why is it that you want to produce evidence against black and brown people every day to lock them up in jail? If a police officer commits murder, if a police officer does something out of whack, then they should be prosecuted by the same law that they are there to protect and serve and defend. At the end of the day, their job is to protect and serve the community. The minute those police officers overreach their power and begin to attack and kill black people, there's a problem. What I want to know is, why isn't mainstream media talking about the fact that this police officer asked her to put out her cigarette, and then because she wasn't, he opened her door and pulled her out of the vehicle? He escalated the incident, and then he blamed Sandra Bland for responding accordingly. I don't buy into the notion that we as civilians should allow police officers to treat us any kind of way, that we lose our rights the minute that a police officer pulls us over. No, as a matter of fact, anything Sandra Bland said to that officer, as long as she didn't threaten his job, which is called public intimidation, she was within her First Amendment right to freedom of speech. And the minute we begin to say that because a police officer is talking to you, that you don't have the right to say anything, we've got a problem. As a matter of fact, when you're arrested, they say you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say or do can be used against you in a court of law, which means Sandra Bland had the right to say whatever she wanted to say to that police officer. If she wanted to tell him go jerk off, she had every right to tell him that, because this is America. And in America, whether you're black, brown, blue, or white, you have the right to say something. And now Sandra Bland is dead, and her rights were stripped from her. But what's worse than her rights being stripped from her that day is her life being snuffed out of this earth and answers not being given. We need to hashtag Sandra Bland and Lamar Johnson and anybody else that the police officers around this country say hung themselves in a prison, and they haven't yet proven that they hung themselves. On top of that, Sandra Bland, on top of being pulled out of the vehicle, in the video footage we see, was not Mirandized. So she wasn't even told she had a right to remain silent. But more than that, in America, there's a big discussion about body cameras right now. Okay, so police officers don't wear body cameras, yet this cop was smart enough to pull Sandra Bland into the grass, out of the line of vision, and we would not have seen what happened had it not been for the passerby who stopped and recorded, and the police officer told him to leave. He had the wherewithal to realize that he was on public property and within his right to stand there and record them. So we wouldn't have known what was going on the side. Now we get, if you piece the two videos together, you get to grab a hold of what the situation was and the tension and the atmosphere. But this police officer pulls her out of line of view of the dash cam. But if he had a body camera on, we would have saw everything that happened, everything that transpired. So my question is, why aren't we requiring that every person that wears a badge wear video cameras on their person? It's simple. You want to wear the badge, we need to pay for it. Tax dollars pay for all kinds of other things. People make absorbent salaries. People get all kinds of things from our tax dollars. As a matter of fact, we give money to businesses to draw business into our city, but we won't protect the people that live within the city with the tax dollars that come from the people who live in the city. At the end of the day, it should never be a debate about the safety of people. If we can spend billions and trillions of dollars to go to war with other countries, we can certainly spend a few $1 million to make sure police officers wear body cameras. All too familiar story. A white guy walks into a building, pulls out a gun, shoots people. Well, that happened in Lafayette, Louisiana on Thursday night. Let's play white terrorist bingo. He was a good kid. He was quiet and soft-spoken, smart, friendly and sociable, had non-white friends. He was troubled, loved comedies. He was mentally ill, just a kid, had a bright future. He enjoyed blank. News shows or photos of terrorists as a 5-year-old are gonna roll on TV in mainstream media. He loved pizza, he had a dog, was active in the community, did well in school, didn't do well in school. This is what white privilege is in America. A guy walks into a theater and shoots people is a terrorist. If he was black, he'd have been a thug. At the end of the day, we need to call things what they are. This guy's a cold-blooded killer who went into a theater, shot some people, and we should call him what he is, a murderer. Like an unchecked cancer, hate corrodes the personality and eats away its vital unity. Hate destroys a man's sense of values and his objectivity. It causes him to describe the beautiful as ugly and the ugly as beautiful, and to confuse the true with the false and the false with the true. Martin Luther King. This is a Spotlight. Thank you for watching.